Hey Top Percenters, just a quick update about the news from E3. So let's start with the newly revealed Pokemon. First we have Vivillon, a bug flying Pokemon that we've been told evolves from Spupa. Just from the name sounding like pupa, I'm guessing that this is going to be another caterpillar chrysalis butterfly line, which to be honest I don't mind. We haven't had one since Gen 3. Next we have Noivern, a dragon flying type that has debuted the attack Boom Burst. And I can say that Boom Burst has been confirmed as a normal type move, and I personally can see it being accessible to explode. Next we have two new water Pokemon, Skrelp, a water poison seahorse, and Clauncher, a pure water type. We haven't had too much information handed to us about these two, but Clauncher has been shown to know Swords Dance and Crabhammer, although Crabhammer is a standard to attack for crustacean Pokemon. Keeping with new Pokemon for just a little longer, we also have Talonflame, who looks good and has a pretty awesome name. Talonflame is a flying fire type and has been shown using Flame Charge and Brave Bird in a new battle type, Sky Battle. Moving on from new Pokemon, we officially have a new Pokemon type. Fairy type has been confirmed and has been added to try and balance the game's current type tables by countering dragon types. This is the first time since Generation 2 that a new type has been added to the game to try and balance the game's mechanics a little more. The last time we saw this was in Gold and Silver when the Dark and Steel types were added to counter Psychic's dominance in battles. So far we've only been shown 4 fairy type Pokemon, with them being Sylveon, Jigglypuff, Marill, and Gardevoir. And let me just say, Gardy becoming a fairy type has really given Max a reason to like XY. Not saying that he didn't like it, but now there's a definite reason beyond it being a Pokemon game. We've also been shown 2 fairy type attacks. These are Moon Blast and Fairy Wind. And that's all we know about them so far. We don't have any power or accuracy for them just yet. Away from new Pokemon and onto interacting with our Pokemon, and 2 new battle styles have been revealed. The first is Sky Battles. Battles that are restricted to Pokemon that are either part flying or have the ability to levitate. Apart from that restriction, I'm not 100% sure if there's any other feature that would come from Sky Battles, other than the fact that the game's dynamic camera can observe your Pokemon from all angles. And secondly, we have Horde encounters. Similar to double encounters in previous games, you can now encounter 5 Pokemon at once. That being said, I don't know if the number is set at 5, or whether to expect it as a maximum, or maybe even an average Horde encounter. Now, one thing that has been mentioned during the section on Horde encounters is that for the sake of balance in the game, they don't want to make very strong Pokemon available in the wild. Now, I'm going to infer a little here. Going by when this was said, I'm left wondering, is it possible to encounter Pokemon but not be able to catch them? Will some Pokemon be Horde exclusive? And if so, does encountering a Horde mean that you can't catch any of those Pokemon, even if you whittle the field down to 1? As I said, I'm inferring here. The inability to catch very strong Pokemon could mean in general, and it just happened to be mentioned in the Horde encounter section. Or it could mean that certain Pokemon can't be caught, and that you have to train up a Pokemon from its line to get it. Basically nothing's set in stone, and it's just a thought I thought might be worth mentioning. Other than the new battles, there's a completely new way to interact with your Pokemon. Pokemon Ami. Keeping with the fact that the new game is set in France, I'm guessing that this literally means Pokemon Friend. And many DS veterans will recognise the concept of Pokemon Ami straight away. It's Nintendogs for Pokemon. You can pet, treat and play with your Pokemon. Now, some people would think that this is a bit pointless, mostly because they probably didn't have any interest in Nintendogs, but Pokemon Ami serves a second purpose. By interacting with Pokemon in Ami, you can increase the chances of your Pokemon either scoring critical hits or even evading attacks. So hopefully Ami interactions or benefits will be trackable. All the evasion clause in competitive battling will go right out the window. It also turns out that Go-Goat isn't the only Pokemon you can ride, as it's been shown that it is also possible to ride on Rhyhorn as well, simply meaning that there could be more options for Pokemon to ride. Also a small note, the game's layout will still be on a set grid for the sake of cutscene programming, but after 17 years we can now move diagonally, making in-game movement, in my opinion, a lot more natural. On the note of functionality, they also seem to have created the PSS, the player search system, which can search both locally and globally via Wi-Fi to find other players to trade with and battle. Now, I'm going to hop back to new Pokemon for a minute here, just because Koro leaked while I was writing the script. We've had 2 more Pokemon revealed, plus Vivillon's entire line has been leaked. Vivillon's metamorphosis isn't the most impressive, but we can tell that they're from the same line, and I'm not really going to grumble at something that cute. Now we also have Shishiko, a Lion Club Pokemon that's fire and normal. And I'll be honest, I did not see Lion when I first saw this. I thought it was a bear, mostly because of how they've styled the muzzle. This Pokemon can learn a new attack called War Cry, which lowers the target's attack stat, much like Growl, and it is said to be short-tempered. Next we have Fula Baby, which I can only guess literally means flower baby, which suits its description, which states that as soon as it is born, it will find a flower and hold on to it for the rest of its life. It's been revealed as a pure fairy type, which kinda surprised me as I thought this would be our first fairy grass Pokemon, but what can you do? Also, on the pronunciation of Fula Baby, I apologise to anyone who can actually speak Japanese if I pronounce that completely utterly wrong. We've also been introduced to a group of sub-story characters, to which I'll link information below, because they're non-player characters, and quite frankly, I don't care about NPCs. Maybe someday I'll explain why. So that's pretty much a brief on Pokemon's E3 announcements. Until next time, I'm Rata Joey, you guys are the top percent, peace out.